gave you the definition for infinite, eternal, unchangeable. It didn't give you, well, what does that mean? What do you mean when you say those things, right? They don't say that. And this is what I have to say. This is why it depends on you. You're going to see by the end of class tonight, I'm hoping the illustration is going to work, but it depends on you. Nobody is going to do it for you. You are going to be responsible to make sure you understand God properly. And I give the warning even stronger to those of us who are leaders in the church, because you are showing everyone else who God is. What does infinite mean? That's your responsibility to help teach what infinite does mean and does not mean. Because just saying the word doesn't make it so. Do you get where I'm going with this? You need to be able to answer, what do you mean when you say this word? Like how we started with Rose on day one, right? Some people call themselves Christian, but Christian doesn't mean Christian like it used to mean Christian. Or born again doesn't mean born again like it used to mean born again. Does everybody understand this? What we're going to spend our time with this evening, and the challenge that you will have anytime I am up here teaching, is that you will begin to ask the question, what is it I believe about what I believe? I believe that God is infinite. What do I believe about Him being infinite? What is infinite? That is the primary question. My professor, just a quick story here, he would give an example of when he went to a secular college campus, and they were talking about God. They were out there on the lawn, all having discussions about God, and they were approaching the question of the 4 spiritual laws. Do you know the 4 spiritual laws? For evangelism, if you go up to someone, you say, God loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life, right? That's the first spiritual law. And he went up to a group and he said, can you start on your campus to tell somebody the 4 spiritual laws? And they said, absolutely not. Because before you even say the first spiritual law, God loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life, before you even say the first word of the first law, God, you have to define, what do you mean when you say God? The people on campus said that they had a girl on campus who would go around collecting pine cones because she believed that God could be found in the pine cones. And so the more pine cones she had, the more God she had. And if you went up to her and said, God loves you, and God has a wonderful plan for your life, she would hear in her head, pine cones love me, and pine cones have a wonderful plan for my life. And that's a comical example, but you had an example of people up here tonight that all had thoughts about what they thought God was. If you were to tell them you need to trust in God or believe in God, they would be believing in pine cones or in a concept of God that is not found in here. So we're going to be working on terms. Before we take our break, I'd like us to look at some of these verses. Who would look up Psalm 145:3? I'm going to pass these out. Give me some volunteers here. I'm just going to go down and pass them out, and then we'll read them together. Who's got the first one? Rose? Who's got the second one? Romans 11. Althea? Job 5:9. Alvine? And then Job 11:7 and 8. Who's got it? You got it, Wayne? All right. Ecclesiastes 8:17. Who's got Ecclesiastes 8:17? Oh, someone's got it here. Kevin's got it. All right. Hebrews 1:10 and 12. 10 through 12. LaShawn? All right, and finally, Isaiah 40:28. Nathalie's got it. Thank you. All right, who has our first one? Psalm 145. Hold on, Rose. One minute. I want to let everybody finish turning their passage. So that I want everybody to listen to these verses. I've chosen these verses because these are some of the most cherished verses that tell us something about God. They tell us something about His character or His nature, or they tell us something about how we approach Him, how we come into contact with who He is. Okay, Everybody got their verses? Rose, can you start with us in Psalm 145?
Great is the Lord, and most worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom.
Great is the Lord, worthy of praise. His greatness, you can't even fathom. All right, Romans 11:33.
Oh, the depth of the riches of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable his judgment, and his paths beyond tracing out.
That's just beautiful. The depth of the riches of the wisdom. That's one little component of God. Who can search them out? Job 5:9. Yes.
He performs wonders that cannot be fathomed, miracles that cannot be counted.
Miracles that can't be counted and can't be fathomed. This ought to cause us to just do one of these. We ought to just sit back in our chairs a little bit and just stand in awe for a moment of this God that you can't comprehend, can't fathom. And these are his ways. All right, 11:7 and 8 from Job.
Can you fathom the mysteries of God? Can you probe the limits of the Almighty? They are higher than the heavens. What can you do? They are deeper than the depths of the grave. What can you know?
That one blows me away. The heavens are high. They're higher than the heavens. The depths of the grave are low. They're lower than that. They're deeper than that. And then what was the last line? Was it like who? Yeah, what can you do? I love it. You say it a little bit too robotically. What can you do? No, it's more like, what can you do? Nobody can, almost like a exclamation of like, who can do it? You can't do it. All right, who's got it? Ecclesiastes 8:17.
Then I saw all that God has done. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun, despite all his efforts to search it out, and I cannot discover its meaning. Even if a wise man claims he knows, he cannot really comprehend it.
That's right.
Oh man, that just put a bunch of smarty pants in their place, right? Bunch of wise men. Even wise men. You can't. Hebrews 1:10-12.
He also said, in the beginning, O Lord, you laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They will perish, but you remain. They will all wear out like a garment. You will roll them up like a robe. Like a garment, they will be changed. But you remain the same, and your years will never end.
The heavens, all the stars, the vastness of the universe. It's like God changing his shirt. He just rolls it up. Can't even fathom it. Isaiah 40:28.
Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom.
I love that. How wore out would you be if you had to create the whole world? Isaiah says he doesn't grow tired. He doesn't grow weary. This is the God that we serve. Just before we take break, I want to make this opening point. It's the point